There are two words in this week's parsha that we say every day. U're'isem oso. U'zachartem es kol mitzvot Hashem. There's four people in that window right now. But there's no sheets. So if you want to just take notes, just take out a piece of paper and you can take some notes there. Or first of all, you can remember whatever works. Okay, U're'isem oso. There are fascinating a number of halachos that are connected and learned out from those two words. That's what we're starting with. U're'isem oso. So I think there's four halachos that we learn out from U're'isem oso. First, the Gemara has a machlokas in Meseches Menachos. Gemara has a machlokas about whether Tzitzis is a mitzvah asay shazman grama, whether it's a time-bound mitzvah. Are there any limits? Machlokas. We paskin that it is zman grama. It's one of the mitzvahs asay shazman grama. Again, there aren't so many of them. We think that there's like 30. No, there's like 9 or 7. I don't remember the exact number. Some of them have machlokas about them. But there is the sheet of Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shimon says that mitzvahs are a mitzvahs asay shazman grama. Why? Because of U're'isem oso. You can't see at night. So night is lav zman tzitzis. That's what the Gemara says in Menachos Daf Mem Gimel. U're'isem oso prat l'ksus laila, excluding ksus laila. That is the sheet of Rabbi Shimon, and we hold like that. The Gemara says, why do you exclude ksus laila? Maybe you should exclude ksus suma. Maybe a blind man shouldn't have to wear tzitzis because he can't see. The Gemara says, no, include ksus suma because other people could see his tzitzis. And that's why a suma is included. Ksus laila, nobody could see the tzitzis. And therefore, that is excluded. And that is what we paskin. We paskin a suma, a blind man is chayiv in tzitzis if he wears a four-corner garment, because other people could see his tzitzis. But ksus laila is excluded. We exclude ksus laila. The question is, what does ksus laila mean? That is a major machlokas rishonim. What does it mean that ksus laila is pater? So that's machlokas Rashi in a few places. Rashi Masechah Shabbos on Daf Chaf Hey, Daf Chaf Zayin. The Rush, others say ksus laila means pajamas. Pajamas are paturos from tzitzis, clothing that you wear at night. Meaning, according to Rashi, if I wear pajamas during the day and it has 4 corners on it, obviously only a 4-corner garment, 4-cornered pajamas are pater from tzitzis, even if I wear it during the day. If I take a nap during the day and I'm wearing a 4-cornered garment of pajamas, because that sus miyucha l'layla, so that's why it is not chayiv in tzitzis. That's sus laila according to Rashi, according to Tosfos and others. If you look in the Rambam though, the Rambam and others, these are Gaonim in the Ritva, seem to say no. Ksus laila means what you wear. It doesn't matter about the object. It's at night, you're pater from tzitzis no matter what you're wearing. By day, you're chayiv in tzitzis no matter what you're wearing. Nothing to do with the clothing, according to the Rambam. It has to do with the time. You get that from the Rambam in Hilchot Tzitzis in Perek Gimel Halacha Zayin. Talks about, as we know, the ultimate mitzvah of tzitzis is with shatnez. Tcheles. We're not having a share on tcheles now, but the machlokas rishonim about tcheles, about 1 string, 2 strings, 4 strings. But tcheles is blue or black wool. And you could wear that on a linen beged, which is kilayim, which is shatnez. But you're allowed to do that when you're being yoked to the mitzvah. That's asi dochalos say. But says the Rambam, Rabbanan answered wearing it with shatnez. Why? Zera shemi is katsa babalayla. You might forget and keep wearing this beged at night. She'enos man chiyav tzitzis. The nimtza over alotza say be'esh she'ein sham mitzvah say, and you'll be violating the avera without doing the mitzvah. But what is clear from the Rambam, the Ketz Mishnah says, the Rambam doesn't sound like it's the beged, it's the person. Because at night, all of a sudden, the mitzvah is going to evaporate, and that's why the Rambam gives the impression that one would be patur based on time, not based on object. So that is a machlokas rishonim about how do you define ksus laila. The Gemara excludes ksus laila from tzitzis. Machlokas rishonim, how do you understand that? The Meiri says, well, maybe, and we'll get to what we paskin in a minute. As Hashem, the Meiri says, maybe it's related to another machlokas in Menachos on Daf Mem Aleph. Gemara there says, if I have a 4-corner garment in my drawer, do I have to put tzitzis on it? And so we look at him like, of course not. What are you thinking? That's the machlokas. It's the machlokas whether tzitzis is chovas mana, a chova of the beged, or a chovas gavra, or a chov of the person. As a machlokas earlier in that parak menachos, this is where all of the discussions are. We're into the machit. Is it a chovas talis? Is it a chovas gavra? That's the discussion here earlier. So says the Meiri, maybe that's machlokas between these Rishonim. According to the Rambam, who says that it's totally on like when you wear it, he holds it's a chovas gavra. If I wear a four-corner garment, I have to put tzitzis on. If I never wear it, I don't have to. According to Rashi and Tosfos, it goes by the beged itself. So then maybe because they hold it's a chovas mana. Okay. Either way, we paskin. What do we paskin? Shulchan Aruch has both opinions. Shulchan Aruch and Arachaim, Simin Yud Ches. Says the Shulchan Aruch, Laila lavs man tzitzisu. The imit mei u'reisa motzo. Laila is not man tzitzis because it says reisa motzo. You have to see. Leha Rambam, interesting, by name. The Shulchan Aruch quotes by name. Leha Rambam, Oma shalovish balayla pater, afilhum yuchad hayom. Whatever you wear at night is pater. According to the Rambam, the mitzvah evaporates at night. If you wear pajamas during the day, it's chayiv in tzitzis if it has four corners. The Rosh says no, it's only on the beged. Pajamas are keturos, even if you wear it during the day. So Shulchan Aruch just quotes both opinions without saying anything else. The Rama adds, Safek brachos lahakel. Put these two together, we'll be machmir across the board. We'll be machmir to put tzitzis on a four-cornered beged, no matter what. Even if it's pajamas and even if it's at night, I wouldn't wear a four-corner garment without tzitzis. But I'd only make a bracha if I have both. If it's a beged yuchad layom and it's yom. Right? We never make a bracha on tzitzis at night. Even if, let's say, the shul has a minhag of wearing a talis for Ma'ariv, Yom Kippur, we make sure to put on the tzitzis before the talis before Shkia, because we're machmir for the bracha. The bracha we only make by day for daytime clothing, but the idea of something being excluded is clear, and that's based on ureisem oso. Based on ureisem oso.
Rabbi.
Yeah.
So why don't you have to put tzitzis on a blanket that you wear during the day?
So again, a blanket. If you only wear a blanket once in a while, it's not called a beged. It's not called a beged. And that's why you wouldn't have to put it on. If you wear a blanket every day, then it would be called a shul, and then you would have to put this on. But once you're just wrapping yourself because you're cold, but you don't usually wear it, that would not be called a beged. There is a chomer. Yeah.
But if you wear it regularly, you'd have to put tzitzis on.
I lost you.
I said, but if you wear it regularly, you would have to put tzitzis on.
Could be if you wear it, let's say, every day, yes. Okay.
What does it mean, Rabbi? What does it mean to be wearing the blanket? Like, is it just like to be on the couch under the blanket, or like to walk around the house with it?
I hear you choppy. I don't know if everybody else hears you choppy, but I know. A towel also. Somebody asked also. That's not called a beged. That does not need. Again, Natana will try that again.
Rabbi.
Yeah, who is talking?
I was just saying, Nathanael was trying to ask about what would constitute wearing a beged or wearing a blanket.
What would constitute if it's wrapped around most of your body and you wear it a lot? You know, you have to. It's not just you're cold, so you put it on. Every day you wear a blanket. You know.
If I took a nap every day, would I have to put tzitzis on my blanket?
No, that's because you're not, wearing it when you're awake. That would not be included. There are those that say you should only tie your tzitzis during the day, but we're generally not machmer like that. We assume that if you're making tzitzis, you can even do it at night. It is okay. Okay, so number one halacha that we learn out from Arisa Moso is excluding sus lila, whatever that means, machlokas. Number two, suma is not excluded. Re'isa also includes suma because other people could see his tzitzis. Number two. Number three, actual re'iyah. there is an amazing smack. Smack is always unique. Smack is one of the Bali Atosvos, right? He wrote his own sefer mitzvahs. He has two separate mitzvahs. He has a mitzvah of making tzitzis. Interesting. I don't know if he counts the mitzvah of wearing tzitzis. I didn't find it. But he has a mitzvah of making tzitzis. Mitzvah lamed aleph. La'asos tzitzis. But it says, asu lahem tzitzis. Right? He says that's the language of the Torah. Make for yourself tzitzis. That's probably what includes the wearing also. But he has a separate mitzvah with his takel b'tzitzis. So look at the tzitzis. Chsiv u're'isa moso. Wow. A separate mitzvah of looking at one's tzitzis. Again, kissing one's tzitzis, that's chibur mitzvah, but that's smack. Learned out from u're'isa moso. And it's not just a smack. Let's read the Ramah. The Ramah in Siman Yuzayin. Siv Gimel. At what age does a child get to put tzitzis on? At what age does chinuch start? Right? At different mitzvos, there's a different age of chinuch. So what does the Ramah say here? In Siman Yuzayin. A child who knows how to put on tzitzis, the father has to get him tzitzis. That could be 4 years old. He knows how to wear tzitzis. That's all you need. Ramah. You have to know how to wear it like normally. Two in front, two in back. If he just wears it around his neck, that's not called wearing. He has to know how to wear it. And the Ramah adds, and he should be able to hold the tzitzis in his hand when he says Kriya Shema. He should be able to know how to do that. So it doesn't say like to see it, but to hold it, right? To hold it, which is you probably hold it in order to see it. Again, that is quoted in the Ramah. Okay, there's a mystery. Just the Mishnah Berurah quotes on that halacha. There's a mystery we're not going to go into now. Why is it that single guys don't wear a talis? That is a mystery, right? Is it purely just that everybody can know who's not married, so we can find the Meshidach, right? Is that why it is? It's based on a remez and the pasuk, because tzitzis is next to the words, next to the marriage pasuk in the Torah. Okay, there are remazim, but it's more of a mystery than a than otherwise. But either way, that's re'iyah. There is an interesting tshuva of the Rivash. The Rivash was by the Talmud of the Ran. The Rivash, fascinating tshuva. If you want to look it up, it's Chelik Beis Simin Taf Pei Vav. Taf Pei Vav. Someone asked the Rivash. Inahakal is takel b'dalat tzitzis b'shas Kriya Shema. You have a minhag of looking at your tzitzis during Kriya Shema. So it says u're'isem oso. And the smak says there's a mitzvah to look at your tzitzis. The Amarta, but the questioner asked the Rivash, some people make fun of me that I look at my tzitzis during Kriya Shema. Why? Because they say, Shemagia Lukchartam, no Mashioches Tefillin. So when you say Lukchartam Laos, you tie your tefillin. There's a reason most of tzitzis. You look at your tzitzis. So by Kchartam, you tie your tefillin. Uchesavtam. Right in mezuzah when you say those words? No. Mezuzah. No, you don't do anything. You're talking about the mitzvah. It's nothing to do with the object of the mitzvah when you mention them. So this questioner, this Talmud of the Rivash, says that other people are making fun of him, that he kisses his tzitzis, or he looks at his tzitzis during Kriya Shema, when he says U're'isem oso, but, what about these other Chetz Shel mitzvahs? So should I stop doing it? That was the question. The questioner asked the Rivash, should I stop doing it? He says, I don't think the smak is correct, says the Rivash. They should count it as a separate mitzvah, because it's all part of the reason for tzitzis. Tzitzis, see it, and you'll think about all the mitzvahs. We'll talk about that more about them tonight. You shouldn't count it separately. But seeing the tzitzis is part of the essence of doing the mitzvah. Even Shariah, he tachlis rishon the mitzvah zu. Kedei sheyavu the tachlis ha'achron shukiyam ha'mitzvahs overroy l'stakal b'tzitzis b'shas ha'tifa shemavarich aleha. It's roy, it's tov to look at them. V'chein ani noheg. I also do that, right? I also look at my tzitzis when I put them on. And you also look at it when you get to Re'isam Oso. That's fine. Doesn't say that he does it, but that's fine. Ki minhag yafehu, chibuve mitzvahu. Showing love for the mitzvah. Knowing Mori Achasid, a Rabbi Rabbeinu Peretz HaKohen. My Rabbi did it. Doesn't say that he did it. His Rabbi. Look at the tzitzis. What about tefillin? What about tefillin? He says, first of all, you can't touch your tefillin when you say ukshartam, right? Many of us do. We do touch our tefillin. What about getting up? Everybody should go to the mezuzah? When they daven, everybody should go to the mezuzah. So, first of all, I would add, technically a shul does not eat a mezuzah. Technically. If all you would do is daven and learn in there, you wouldn't eat or sleep or do anything, technically. But, he says, it's not literal. It's all a remez. Tzitzis and tefillin are in front of you. They're on you. The mezuzahs? Come on. It's all a remez minhag, so there's no problem with what you're doing. Don't give up on your minhag, even if people make fun of you. He says, Achos b'minhadcha, al teref, v'halogim alecha lo yafehim osim. Those that make fun of you and say, oh, what kind of funny minhag is this? They're the ones that are wrong. They're the ones that are wrong. But either way, this is all about also ure isam oso. What's the source for kissing tzitzis during Shema? That's chibuv mitzvah. Chibuv mitzvah, like any kissing. Like, there's no makar for kissing my hand with a mezuzah also, right? There's a source for looking at it. That's by Onkelos, about Azara Dafid but that's by looking at it. But the kissing it is chibuv mitzvah. Chibuv mitzvah. Okay, so that's number 3. So number 1, ksus laila. Number 2, suma. We pater ksus laila, but we machayev suma. Number 3, actually looking. Number 4, and this is fascinating. We know that all mitzvahs bayom, when is the earliest time that I can do mitzvahs bayom? We know from Alot HaShachar, from dawn. B'diavad, that's when I can daven, and that's why I should try to do mitzvahs after sunrise. But if I need to, I'm going to work, whatever it is, I can do all the mitzvahs shel yom after dawn. I can lay in the Megillah, I can shake a lulav, I can do all the mitzvahs. What about tzitzis and tefillin? Misha Yakir. A little bit later. Later than dawn. In between dawn and sunrise is Misha Yakir. How do you figure out Misha Yakir? Is a good question. You can look in the poskim. How do you figure out Misha Yakir? But it goes by when you can tell the difference between blue and green, blue and white, like the Mishnah says in the first parak in Brachas. Why are tefillin and tzitzis different? Why are they different than all other mitzvos? All mitzvos go by dawn, Alot HaShachar. So why are these different? So if you look in Rabbeinu Yonah in Brachas on Daf Daled, Amid Beis, in the Daf Arif, because both of these mitzvos have a re'iyah related to them. By dawn, you still can't see anything. You have to wait till Misha Yakir. Right? Tzitzis, says Rabbeinu Yonah. Tzitzis shemitzvah so bayom ki deyolef mikra d're'isa motzo efshar shezman haskolasu gamkein v'shiyiratz chavero o efshar shezman Misha Yakir v'tchelet shabbat alav shabbat re'isa motzo. And therefore, that's why Tzitzis goes by Misha Yakir and it's not dawn. And the same thing he says by tefillin. Tefillin also has an element of re'iyah. The Gemara Darshans in Brachas on Davav, Ishem Hashem Nikra Alecha V'Yaro Mimeka, right? A pasuk in Kisavo. Nations of the world will see, your Shem Hashem on you, and they'll be fearful of you. It's referring to tefillin. You see, tefillin also has a re'iyah element. That's a beautiful Rabbeinu Yonah. Alanam Abayz in the Dafi Arif in Brachas, that both tefillin and tzitzis have a re'iyah element, and that's why they go by Misha Yakir, unlike all other mitzvos. So those are 4 ideas relating to Ure'isa Moso when it comes to tzitzis. Now let's get into a couple of the other elements of tzitzis, really going by an order of the Shulchan Aruch. When one puts tzitzis on, when does one make the bracha? When does one make the bracha? So again, if you're not married, you're just putting your tzitzis on when you wake up and you didn't wash your hands yet, you don't make a bracha, you make a bracha later. Make the bracha later, and then you just kiss your tzitzis, you move them around, you still yotze. But by a talis, one way is a talis, make the bracha right before you do the mitzvah. Over the head, you're about to wrap yourself in it, that's when it's done. That's when the bracha is, that's when it's the mitzvah is done and the bracha is done right there. We wrap it. There's a minhag of throwing the tzitzis on the left side. That is the mitzvah. The way that tzitzis have to be worn are two in front, two in back. There is I would assume, I think this is the most common minhag, that by Kriya Shema, when we hold our tzitzis, we hold all four tzitzis. Any people have that minhag? There is a chumrah I've heard. I forgot to look it up again. Maybe I can look it up right now. 1 second. 1 minute. Where's my Ma'aser Rav? If I could find it. If not, I'll skip it. Just looking for my. 1 second. Sometimes I can't find something on the shelf. I'm just looking. Okay, I can't find it. I'm sure it's. Sometimes people have refrigerator blindness. They feel like it's staring at you in the face and you can't find it. So I'm just gonna look 1 more second, and if I can't find it, forget it. Where is the Ma'aser Rav? Okay, I'll try to find it for tomorrow. I think in the Ma'aser Rav, he says that one should only hold the tzitzis two in front, two in back, because of the halacha that tzitzis have to be, surrounding you. So that's Kriya Shema also. Again, but that's not the minhag. The minhag applies to also hold all the tzitzis together in front. Before one puts on tzitzis, or when one has it on, is a kiyam. Oh yes, Eli.
Rabbi, I've seen some people that where they wear all four, like they kind of wrapped around the towels around them like a scarf kind of, and then they wear all four stitches in the front. So is that what type
Right.
of
So again, it should. I don't think it should be that way the whole davening, because again, the tzitzis should be surrounding you. But again, if you pick it up for chibuv mitzvah to kiss it, I think it's okay. But again, I'm looking on my shelf here where the grush should be, and I don't see it. So it must be behind something. It's on that shelf somewhere. But I think the grush has that chumrah. Okay. Good. There is a special kavana.
Rabbi.
Yeah.
Should you
Yosef.
not have some people wear their tzitzis like on both sides of them and they're right next to each other? So should you not do that because they're not in four corners?
I don't know. I think that I've seen Rabbanim do both things. Right. Some have. The more common minhag I've seen that's how it's done. Because it's still on the side. It's neat. But again, I've seen some people keep two in front, two in back. I think whatever you do is good. There is an idea of having special kavana when you put on your tzitzis. This is one we spoke about this probably early in the year. This is one of the 3 lama'an mitzvos according to the Bach. Bach says, where the Torah says, do the mitzvah so that you have this kavana, that kavana is ma'akev. Even if you say mitzvahs often don't need kavana, but if the Torah tells you a kavana to have, then that's ma'akev. The Torah says, sit in a sukkah, lama'an, so that yedu dorosechem, so that the generations know. Lama'an. With tefillin, lama'an tiyeh Torah Hashem b'ficha. Where this is, lama'an tizkeru v'asisem, it's called mitzvosai. To put on our tzitzis, we should think about how this mitzvah reminds us to do all the other mitzvahs. How does that work? Hopefully we'll talk about that tonight, Hashem, in the Ashkafic segment of our shir. But this is it. Think about that kavanah when we put on tzitzis. There is an idea, interesting, it's in the Shulchan Aruch, to separate the strings of the tzitzis. They shouldn't be all like in a big mess. And it's even alluded to in the word tzitzis. Tzitzis stands for Tzaddik Yafrid Tzitziyosav Tamid. Tzaddik Yafrid Tzitziyosav Tamid. That keep them separate. Keep them separate. Maybe because you have to know that every string is symbolic of something else. But again, the Mishnah Berurah quotes that from the Arizal. Asav Ari. Tzitzis. Tzaddik Yafrid Tzitziyosav Tamid. That's what he quotes from the Arizal. Okay. Good. How often do you have to check? So there is a chazaka of the tzitzis being kosher, but once in a while, one should check them to make sure that you have enough strings and all the strings there, so that you don't make a bracha of matala, right? If you don't have the regular tzitzis, you don't have a kosher tzitzis, then it will be a bracha of matala. Therefore, one should make sure to have the tzitzis checked every so often. How big the tzitzis have to be? Okay, there's different deos, different ideas on lengths given. I had it written down here. What exactly is the minimum? What's the minimum? Optimally, right, the tzitzis should be 24 inches wide, and at least if you need, 18 inches b'diavad, and one should be double that, in length. But again, have an am in front of you, an amma behind you. But again, once one gets to be a certain size, generally tzitzis are okay. Okay, I think machlok is about non-woven badim for tzitzis. That was a big controversy years ago. But again, the what's it called? The mesh tzitzis. The mesh tzitzis. Right? What's the issue with the mesh tzitzis? Right? Because the beged might not be called the beged. Might not be called the beged. Where does this come up? You know what? Let's just go through the begadim. Which begadim are chayav in tzitzis? So if you're a Shulchan Aruch man, then for sure mesh is not going to get you the mitzvah. Shulchan Aruch says only wool begadim. I don't think he says you have to have as long as they're wool. Okay, you hear me now? Unfrozen? Zap, you're unfrozen, right? The Shulchan Aruch says you're only yotze the mitzvah daraisa of tzitzis with wool, with a wool beged. That's the only daraisa beged. I don't think he says you have to have the racing stripes. That's not a chiyuv. Whatever the wool is, that's okay. It can be white on white, black on white, whatever it is. But that's the Shulchan Aruch. All other types are at most chayav d'Rabbanan. That is the Shulchan Aruch Shita, and that's why there are those that are machmir. And those that are machmir. The Rama says, no, the Rama says, all begadim are chayav d'Oraisa. That's the minhag of Ashkenazim, linen, and any other beged as well. Shaila with mesh is that it's not woven, an artificial material, a synthetic material. So that's the machlokas. Lechatchila, one should definitely not use them lechatchila, because there are a number of poskim that say one is not yod to the mitzvah. One doesn't have to wear wool. Linen is fine. The regular begadim material that many tzitzis are made of is fine. The undershirt tzitzis are fine. So again, one should again, for kids, if that's the only way they're going to wear tzitzis, fine. But other than that, one should lechatchila not. Yeah, Netanel.
The problem with the mesh tzitzis is that it's a synthetic material, not that it's not a beged because it's like see-through.
No, it's because it's not woven together. I think that's the ikar problem. It's not like threaded. For a beged, you have to take threads and weave it together and make it into a beged. So I don't think, I think that's the problem. Yaakov, you have a question?
Yeah, Rabbi might touch on this later, but vis-a-vis sports, like I wear a mesh because I don't know how comfortable.
Are you asking, do you have to wear tzitzis when you play sports? Is that the question?
Yeah, because mesh is like the only one which is somewhat suitable as opposed to the other ones.
Or what if you have what's that material called? Dry fit tzitzis. Right, dry fit tzitzis. Look, I would say I think when you're actually, again, you have to ask, when you're actually playing basketball or playing soccer, I think Meikar Adin, you can take off your tzitzis for kavod habeged. I don't think there's anything wrong if you want to put on the mesh tzitzis for that. You're not, losing anything. And according to some poskim, it would be you'd be yotze. But I don't think you have to. I don't think you have to buy that doc to go play sports and take off take it off when you go play sports. Again, I remember people in camp. It doesn't mean that if you have a basketball game in like 6 hours from now, I'm not going to wear them, because you wear them up until the game and then you take them off and then I might lose them in the gym. I'm like, okay, it's fine. Write your name on it. We can't use that as an excuse. But again, that's the terms of the material. There is a lechatchila. The Shulchan Aruch says that the strings of the tzitzis should be the same color as the beged. The string should be the same color. The Rama says our minhag is to make the strings white. Period. And lashanos. Where does this come up? The army gives out green tzitzis. The army gives out. My son had green tzitzis. They were given out because that's what you have to wear. Everything's green. Strings are white, right? Because that's what the Ramah says. Because maybe, I don't know if you were Sephardi, you would have green strings. But the Shulchan Aruch says that Ashkenazim's custom is always to have white strings no matter what color the beged is. Good. What else could we talk about in terms of tzitzis? Again, if you ever make tzitzis,
According to the Shulchan Aruch, would you need to have a blue stripe on your tzitzis if you're wearing tchelas?
I don't think so. I think you go by the.
You wouldn't.
I don't think so. I do not think so. Chelas is an extra. The Iker Beged is the white. Iker Beged is whatever color it is. Chelas is an added color that one doesn't need. Tzitzis have to be made lishma. Asula hem tzitzis l'shem tzitzis. What has to be done lishma? I'll take the question in a second. So for sure, putting the tzitzis onto beged has to be done lishma. So before you start, you say l'shem mitzvah tzitzis. You don't have to say that every second. Shulchan Aruch says you say it at the beginning, it's good enough. Let's go back in time. Also, the teviyah, the Shulchan Aruch says, the teviyah has to be done lishma, making them into threads. We don't do that, where we get it from the store, even if we make our own tzitzis. That also, the teviyah has to be done lishma. There's a machlokes about niputs, about combing the raw wool. Right, one of the malachas, menafes. Combing the raw wool, that's a machlokes, whether you need that to be lishma. The Ramah quotes the minhag of lahakal by niputs. Again, that's the halacha. Can a woman make tzitzis? Can a woman put tzitzis on a beged? So l'chadchila, there's Rabbeinu Tam, I think, that maybe it's better. I think that's quoted later on. Better not to. That's what the Shulchan Aruch says in Sif Yud Daled. Siman Yud Daled. Tzitzis that a non-Jew made, hustle. Right? A woman is allowed to make tzitzis, the Shulchan Aruch says. Yesh machmirin la'asar chanashim sheyatzu otzon. The Ramah says, chadchila not, because they're not obligated, and only somebody mechuyev b'davar can create a chepsa. Tov lasos ken l'chadchila. Better, says the Ramah, for a woman not to make it, because it is there are some days in the Rishonim that she should not make it. But again, that's for other things regarding lishma. A woman can make matzah. A woman could achieve lishma, right? It's afka. There's a different problem by tzitzis that you might not be obligated in it. Yeah, Avram.
Would the machlokas about the niputs play into whether or not a woman would be, meaning is the din about the l'chachila woman shouldn't make tzitzis regarding the lishma, or is that every step of the process? Meaning even if you hold you don't need lishma by the niputs, a woman still shouldn't be doing the niputs, or is it?
I hear you. That could be a nafkamina. I mean, anything that doesn't require the lishma. I would say maybe it's not connected to the lishma dafka. I would think so. I have to look back. It's a Rabbeinu Tam and Mesechus Gittin. I have to look back at it in the memes. But that's what it's based on. If you're not called the Lesnu, would not be included. I could just 1 second. Just see if I could give me 10 seconds. If it's here, yeah, Memheim base. Kanam Rabbeinu Tam. Ein isha ogedes lulav v'oset tzitzis. Even the lo mifkeda. There's one day in the Rishonim. You shouldn't bind your lulav or make tzitzis because she's on mitzvah. And Tosfos says ve'inira. Where we pass can make her a din, you can. Make her a din, she can. Okay, but either way, that's Tosfos in Memhei Amid base. Okay, what else can we talk about regarding tzitzis? Ta'aseh v'lo comes up sometimes. If your whole corner of your beged gets cut, it's ripped. So that is a problem. Ta'aseh v'lo means when you put the tzitzis on, the mitzvah has to be fulfilled. It can't be that you create a situation and then memela you have the mitzvah. That's ta'aseh v'lo manasi, meaning if I have a corner that got ripped off, I'm going to keep the tzitzis on the corner. I'm just going to tie up the corner, sew it up, and memela I have the beged with tzitzis again. That's puzzle. That's puzzle. Those tzitzis are puzzle, even though you've achieved the same results. You have to untie it and then tie it again by ta'aseh v'lo in ha'asri. The length of tzitzis is always a little tricky. Again, we should you're supposed to have a couple of thumb lengths, like 5 or 6 thumb lengths after all the knots are done. L'charchila. B'diavad, all of that is generally going to be kosher. All of the knots and the strings are all a minhag, what we do. The only thing that's a big problem is if it gets cut right where it attaches to the beged. That's the problem. Then you got to take off your beged right away, because then you're wearing a four-corner garment, it's not connected to tzitzis, that could be a problem. But other than that, even if the tzitzis get cut a little bit, generally it's okay. Did we just lose it again? You got it? You're good? I think I lost you for a minute there.
Yeah, I feel.
Okay. I see everybody in slow motion. Okay, yes, Nathaniel.
By Tasa Vilumina Asoi, if one corner gets ripped, would I have to untie all 4 sets of strings or just the one on that corner?
No, not all 4. No, you didn't do the mitzvah until you did all 4. So even if you have 3, when you fix the corner, you still haven't done a mitzvah yet, so it's okay. I'm pretty sure that's the case. Somebody else had their hand up. Yaakov, yeah.
A couple of questions. One, we say by a katan that he makes tzitzis and then he becomes a gadol, he should retie them. Is that not true?
If what? Does he have to retie them? Did the katan make them?
Yeah.
The katan makes tzitzis and then he becomes a gadol. Does he have to retie them as a gadol? Could be, because I don't think the katan achieve l'shma if gadol omid al gabav.
So
He should probably use tzitzis that a gadol made, I would say, yeah.
why is it because so it's a din in the
I don't
lishma.
remember. I have to look that up. I don't remember it officially. That case. I'm sure it's mafurish. I just don't remember it.
Also, secondly, by like the corner over here, the tzitzis goes through a hole in puncture in the baggage. If that like puncture rips and goes on,
I'm only hearing every other word.
but it's still connected. It's still corner.
I lost it.
So if a puncture, if there's a puncture in the baggage, right? So that's where
Yeah.
the tzitzis goes through. Am I frozen?
Yeah.
That's where the puncture goes. That's where the tzitzis goes through. So if just a hole rips, but not completely, that you don't have 4 corners. You still have 4 corners. Does that make a difference?
I think it depends how much beged you have from the hole to the corner. If the hole becomes like all the way to the corner and all you have is like the rim, that's it. I think that's not good enough. You need a certain minimum size from the corner to the hole. Again, that's also a minimum.
What's the minimum?
I don't remember. It's like 2. I think it's 2 finger lengths. I have to check again the exact lesson.
Rabbi, isn't it a thumb?
It could be a thumb. I mean, finger or thumb. That's the finger that we use. It could be 1 thumb width, 1 thumb width between the corner and the hole. Yes, Eli.
What's the bare minimum for having the knots and loops on the tzitzis?
Again, I think as long as it's, there's like 6 or 8. I have it written down here in terms of just look it up. I had it here. The minimum is, the Gemara talks about, let me just see right, I have it written down here. Right, optimally, the teal, the strings, again, the string should be double the length of the knots, and the strings 8 thumbs, and the other part 4. So 8 thumbs. Usually our strings are more, and some people here might have big thumbs, but I think generally our scissors are longer. If you have it, once it cuts, even if it's shorter, I think it's all kosher b'diavad, as long as you have a couple of the knots and the wraps, because if you would still unwrap it, it would still be long. But again, that's, if a couple of them start ripping, then once you get a new pair of tzitzis. What about borrowing tzitzis? Wait, Dov, you had a question before? No? You make a bracha on borrowed tzitzis. Borrowed tzitzis. You make a bracha on them. The answer is, if it's your friend tzitzis, no. If it's the shul tzitzis, yes. Because the assumption is that a shul wants you to own it for that amount of time, and therefore you don't make a bracha on tzitzis she'ula, but you would make it on the shuls.
Even if you're not a member?
Even if you're not a member, unless you ran up to take the talis without permission. But if they give a non-member an aliyah, or they give a non-member whatever a kibbutz, so then they're allowing you to take it. That's the assumption. Some people don't make a bracha if they just run up to get psich or get an aliyah, if they don't put the talis over their head and do real ituf. That might not be called wearing. That's it's the question. Like, let's say you get called up for an aliyah, you don't want everybody to I'm very frum, so I'm gonna do ituf and make a bracha and make everybody wait for me. Probably not the best idea. Because people are gonna think you're weird and that you're a machmir, and it's not gonna be good. So in that case, I would not wait to make a bracha. If the gabbai knows beforehand and gives you time to do it, then I would make the bracha and do proper ituf. But if you're just going to run up and put it over your shoulders, not even pick it up, then I would not take the tircha de tzibura and do proper ituf with the bracha. Yaakov and Nathaniel. Yeah.
By, let's say, for example, one's leaning, or by simplest Torah, for example, you're going to get an aliyah. So I, as a katan who doesn't typically wear a towel, should I not make a bracha of my tzitzis got katan and wait until I go to shoulder?
That's much later. Yeah, I mean, Yaakov is referring to once I bless you, shall get married in the right time. Once you start wearing a talis, so then you don't make a bracha on your tzitzis anymore. Because you're yotze with the bracha on the talis of litzate batitzis. If you know you're going to be the Baal Toreg, I would say until you get married and you're going to put it on at the beginning of davening, make a bracha on the tzitzis. I don't want you to forget. I don't want you to get out of prayer. Make a bracha on the tzitzis. That's the kavua, what you always do. And then the talis, you make another bracha. Make litzate batitzis on the talis. That is our minhag. Say al mitzvah tzitzis on a talis katan and litzate on a talis gadol. Avram.
So ideally, a Baal Koreh should make the bracha on the talis before when they bring the Sefer Torah, or sometime before.
Yeah, beforehand, do real ituf. Do real ituf, like wrap it around your head and put it over your left shoulder for 5 seconds. So do real ituf. If you're not going to do real ituf, and the minhag is not to make a bracha. It's ita gativas yishmaelim. Yeah, Nathaniel.
I was going to ask that question by being chazan.
Fine. Yeah, same thing. Okay, women do not, even though it's a Zman Grama, the Rama already says women should not wear a talis or tzitzis. Even though by other Zman Gramas, like by lulav and by shofar, not a problem, and by sukkah is not a problem, but here not. So the question is why not, right? It's because, so 2 points. Number one, says the Rama, mechzi kiyuhara. Mechzi kiyuhara. You don't have to, right? Meaning, once it's not women's clothing, so if a woman does it, with yura, right? It's bringing undue attention to herself. We find that a lot of times by men. Mechzi kiyuhara. Even if I want to do something spiritually uplifting. So again, it's inappropriate. There is another idea. At the time, Yonasam and Uziel says it's beged-ish. Because women didn't do it originally for 2,000 years, so now it's usher for them to do it. Beged-ish. And therefore they're not allowed to do it. We might add that first we want to do everything that we have to do. Then let's do the things that we want to do. What do we say? Let's always do everything. So anybody who wants to wear a talis, the controversy a couple of years ago with the tefillin, there's a lot of other things to work on before. Tefillin has other major problems in terms of risk factors. But again, this is something that the post can say not to do. There is a story that they tell over from Rabbi Soloveitchik. A woman once came to him and said, I don't know if it's apocryphal or not. I think it's true. A woman came to him and said, I want to wear a talis. So the Rav said, let's not jump into this so quickly. Why don't you first go buy the beged, the talis, without putting the tzitzis on? Don't put the tzitzis on. Just the beged, and wear it for a week, and then come back to me and tell me how you feel. She's like, okay. She goes to buy a beged, doesn't put the tzitzis on, wears it for a week, and comes back to her salvation and says, it was so unbelievable. What a spiritual experience. Amazing. The Soloveitchik says, okay, can't wear it. She's like, why? She's like, what you wore was a zero. It was not a mitzvah. You're getting all these spiritual, emotional feelings from it. Obviously, spiritual, emotional feelings are not flowing from the mitzvah because, you weren't doing a mitzvah. And, the anyways, I don't know if that's an apocryphal story or what, but I don't think it's a story to say over to many people. But you've heard of it. I will say it. Thank you. But it's a story for you and me. But otherwise, the general, the Ramah says don't do it. Done. Nothing more to talk about. If we are Orthodox Jews that followed the Ramah from 500 years ago, there's nothing more to talk about when the Ramah says women should not wear tzitzis or talis. What else? We spoke about the Zman of tzitzis, day, night. The Shulchan Aruch says blankets do not need tzitzis because they're not meant to be worn. They're meant to be covered with, to put above you. A blanket is not worn. A blanket is covered with, and therefore you don't wear it. What do you do with tzitzis after they get worn out? We spoke about this already a little bit last week. You could use the strings as safer marks. That's what the Ramah says to do. But again, it does not require Geniza. It's Tashmishe mitzvah, not Tashmishe kedusha. So it should be disposed of properly. It does not have to be put in shemitz, what we call it, but just to dispose of it properly. That is, there's a major discussion in the poskim. Do we bury, even if there are minhagim about we bury in tachrichin, what about a talis? There are some that bury in a talis that some don't. Even if you bury in a talis, you bury with kosher talis or pasul talis. Some say it has to be a pasul. A kosher one is what's called loy larush. You're wrapping him in a mitzvah that he can't do. It's like you're not allowed to wear your tzitzis out in the cemetery. It's like you put it on the mace, that's even worse. And others say no. Others say no, then no. Why he wants to get wants to take that mitzvah with him. Aruch HaShulchan quotes that there are two stories of two great rabbis, and he writes, and I think the first one's the Vilna Gaon, and the second one is Yesod V'Sharash Avoda. They told their Talmidim that they want to be buried in a kosher talis, and what happened? They told, and the first story, I think the first one was the Gra. The first one is as they were taking the body out, the one that he had told he had to go to the bathroom, and when he came back, he had already cut the corner off and put him in the ground. And the other one, as they were lowering him into the ground, it got caught on a branch or bushes, and the tzitzis got ripped off. So the Aruch HaShulchan writes, Simim min hashamayim, then it must be this what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. And that's how it was. Again, that's part of a larger shir that we could have. You take simanim min hashamayim to determine halacha. What about lo b'shamayim? What about those types of issues? Again, that is the issue of a tzitzis la'achar misa. Shulchan Aruch does say what we mentioned before. Yesh noagim l'istaka b'tzitzis k'shemagim l'risa moso l'iten osam aleinayim. Some of the minhag of looking at the tzitzis by risa moso and putting it on the eyes. Uminag yafehu chibuvei mitzvah. Minhag yafeh, says the Shulchan Aruch. Ramah gam noadim ksas l'nashik atzitzis. Shasharoabam, the minhag to kiss the tzitzis. Chibuv mitzvah. It's all because of chibuv mitzvah. That is the minhag. I was been asked, could you kiss the tzitzis through a mask? Yes, it's okay. You don't have to take off the mask and kiss the tzitzis. You can kiss the tzitzis through a mask. That, love goes through walls. Love goes through materials. It's okay to go right through. There's a lot of symbolism also. Tzitzis is gematria 600, 8 strings, 5 knots. There's a minhag about how many loops you do. 7, 8, 11, 13 is the most common minhag, I think. But again, there's a lot about tzitzis, and Hashem, we will talk a lot more about it at 10 p.m. tonight when we talk about the secret message of tzitzis for our lives. As we'll get to that, Hashem, at 10 o'clock tonight.